All right, Ms. Slyman here again. And once again, we're looking at functions that aren't defined, like we don't know what the equation of this function is, but we have the picture. So we're going to apply these transformations. And in this first one, we're going to double the y values. And then this one is going to reflect over the y-axis. So first let's double the y values. So 0 doubled is going to stay 0. And then 3 doubled will become 6. 6, 0 doubled stays 0, -2 doubled is -4, stays 0. And then I'm going to reflect around the y-axis. So as my second step, this point's going to stay the same. This one will come over to the 3. That looks further away. Sorry, the 2. Okay. This one will come to -2, and this one +4. This 4 comes to +4. Obviously, sorry, this one went to -4. 3 is going to go to -3. And then I will connect my dots. If you have a ruler, you could do that a little bit better than me. Straight line, and down in the end. So notice in the end, my domain stayed the same because the only thing I did to the domain was flip the left and the right. And because they were both at -4 to 4, my domain stayed -4 to 4. However, if we had been -3 to 4, we would have flopped to -4, +3. But my range has doubled. So I've got my points moving up, points moving down. So let's talk about that. So we had, in the original graph, y had a domain of x such that -4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4, and our range was y such that we went from -2 up to 3. And then in our final version, our domain stayed the same. And again, it would have switched had these been different numbers. These would have both been divided by -1. And then our y values doubled. So it's always good to look at your picture and see that your picture matches what we've just said. So -4 as a min, 6 as a positive, that works. So let's try and make this next one. So I see a number of transformations. So we're going to multiply y values by -2, divide x values by 1/2, and then add 1 to the y values. So if I think about any point a, b, I'm going to do it this notation this time. My x values, I'm dividing by 1/2. Well, that's the same as doubling them. My y values, I'm going to multiply by -2, and then I'm going to add 1. So I'm going to do all of this to each point. So we'll start with -4, 0. So that's going to become -8, and then 1. So -8, +1. Then I've got -2, 3. So -2 times 2 is -4. -2 times 3 is -6, plus 1 is going to take me up to 5. Now I've got the point 0, 3. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times -2 times 3, -6. Move it up 1. So notice this horizontal line is going to stay horizontal in my new one. All right, now I've got another key point, 2, 0. So that's going to become 4, and then the 0 turns into a +1. I've got the point 3, -2. So that's, actually that's 3, -1.5. And did I mess that up with this point? I think that I might have. Yeah, so I was calling the domain -2. It should have been -1/2. So this should have actually gone down to -3 over here. Whoops. So negative, that's 1.5. So that should have been 3. Sorry about that. Okay, but we've caught it over here. So 3 -1.5 again, so that's going to become 6. -1.5 times 2 becomes +1, and then moved up 1 takes it to 2. My last point, 40, that's going to become 8, and then I'm going to move it up by 1, is going to take it to 1. That doesn't make sense. Something went wrong here. So -1.5 times 2 times -2 should have turned into +3, moved up 1, should have become 4. Okay, so +3 moved up 1 should have come to 4. And now this is looking more like it. So connecting up and coming through this point and then down here. So I've got all of my points, my original domain and range. Let's look at those. So original domain, we had -4, and our original range was -1.5 to 3. And now with our new one, so our domain should have all the x values doubling. That means we should go from -8 to 8, and we do. So let me put this into IB notation here, since I started it that way, -8 to 8. And our range should go, I should be taking the range, multiplying every number by -2, and then adding 1. So multiply by -2 gives us +3, add 1 gives us 4. Multiply by -2 gives us -6, add 1 gives us -5. And sure enough, I'm going from -5 up to 4, and this shape has stayed the same, except the shape has stretched because of the half, and it has also stretched vertically because of the 2. Negative flipped it over, so I've got a flipped over shape, and I've also moved it all up 1. So this is a nice complicated one to think about. Again, ask me questions if you have them in class.